Welcome. It's Friday Night Com and it's Friday night here where I am on the eastern seaboard of the United States and Natalie is, but you may be elsewhere. It might be Friday afternoon, it might be Saturday morning for some. And here it's nearly spring, but I know some places it's nearly fall and whatever. All right, anyway, Friday Night Comics. We believe in comics Friday night workshops at the Sequential Artists Workshop. Welcome. SAW is a nonprofit. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. And we have lots of online courses and things like that. And you can find them at sawcomics.org. Our next course starts Sunday. I think it's Sunday, April 27th. Yeah. And that's comics layouts with Remaina Yi. And that is specially timed for the Eastern Hemisphere. So it's like 6 p.m. Melbourne, Australia time and like 6 p.m. Melbourne time, and it's like 4 a.m. our time. So if you're in the Eastern Hemisphere and want to join Romania for that, that's going to be awesome. Oh, and next week in this slot, we have Mara Ramirez with sketchbooking as an anti-capitalist practice. So there's Ramina's course. The graphic novel intensive is starting soon. That happens June to November. You can find that out at sawcomics.org. Want to thank everybody for donating, whether you donated today or some other time to this workshop or any other time. It helps keep these workshops free. It helps us pay the artists, and it helps us keep offering scholarships and things like that to other students for other programs. So thank you. So let's keep going. Please no inappropriate speech or imagery. No trolling, hate speech. Keep it PG-13. Thank you. And share tonight on social media with the hashtag Friday Night Comics. And you can tag us at Comics Workshop. You can tag Natalie. I'll put it in the chat, but it's Natalie_Norris. I'll put it in the chat. You can also come to members.sawcomics.org and find us and share there. And Annie, Little Orphan Annie says, let's watch the time and make sure that we're not going past 90 minutes, which is 88 minutes from now. But there are lots of ways to share if you're interested in sharing, and I'll put those in the chat. Um, Meanwhile, you can also join our weekly PDFs that we do from these workshops, and you'll find those at seesawcomics.org. Our friends on Wednesday evenings on the West Coast, especially, I want to invite you to the free Wednesday Starlight Studios. They happen on the Eastern time. They happen 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. But if you're on the Pacific, it's what is that? 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So come into the SAW Network, find the Western or the Wednesday Starlight for the West Coast, free open studios, and join them. They said, let people in. So there you go. Enjoy. So tonight we have Natalie Norris, drawing diary comics devoted to love. I need a big inhalation for this. It sounds like it's going to be cool and intense. So Natalie, what does this mean? Hang on, I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah. Well, let me share
All
and then
right, great.
dive right into
Yeah,
it.
let's dive right in.
Let's see. Oh, let me just go.
I do hope we get to see that dog cat again.
Yeah, I'll do my best to bring her back. Okay, just starting from the beginning. Okay, share. All right, and is that filling the whole screen?
Hmm.
Okay, great. So tonight we are going to talk about diary comics devoted to love. And I'm Natalie Norris. As Tom introduced me, I'm a cartoonist, a teacher, and a comics librarian. And I have a few offerings right now that I thought I'd just mention at the beginning. I am doing one on one mentorship. I really like working individually with people, and that's on Zoom. And it's open for anyone who wants to do autobiographical comics. You don't have to have like a book length work. And there's more information on my website. And then I also have a Patreon, and this is where I've been sharing my diary comics. Full disclosure, I'm not keeping to like a really rigid monthly output right now, but there's hundreds of comics, and I also have my whole first book is serialized on Patreon.
Hey, Natalie, I think we're not seeing the bottommost
Oh,
part
okay,
of
yeah.
your website. Any idea why? Ah,
Is that
great.
better?
Yep, yep.
Okay, this happened. Okay, now let me get back to my notes. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
And I put Natalie's info in the chat for
Okay,
everybody.
oh, here's this. Sorry about that. Oops,
Oh,
did I just. Ah, I'm sorry.
the dog did it. It's okay.
The dog did it. Okay, let me share that again. Okay, how is that?
Great.
Excellent. All right. So, on Patreon, one thing I am really excited about right now is that I'm sending out a monthly letter. And so, this is snail mail and it's
All right.
an illustrated letter. And it's fun because it's a little different from regular comics. And this one is sticking to a monthly schedule. And then lastly, I have an in-person class, which is at the Center for Cartoon Studies this summer. It's July 7th through 11th, called Graphic Resiliency. And this is like a memoir focused course that looks at comics that are about difficult subject matter. So, like, how do we approach difficult stories? And if you're curious, there's a lot of student testimonials I have on my website and I shared on Instagram. So if you want to look more into that, feel free. All right, and then as Tom said, you can find me on Instagram. And if you want to share comics, I always love to see what you guys make on these nights. It's triple underscore. And I am on Blue Sky, but I don't actually use it, so don't count on a reply there. All right, so tonight we're going to be making diary comics that capture sweet moments and practice distilling these little moments into a single image. So, my primary comics practice has been graphic memoir, and I published my first book, Dear Minnie, in 2023, and I'm working on the second installment. It's one story, and together the books will be about like over 500 pages. So that's very different than the undertaking that we're going to be doing tonight, boiling down a moment into a single panel. As a graphic memoirist, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on the past, and there's definitely safety in dissecting events that took place years ago, even if those events were painful. My work primarily deals with adolescent trauma, and making part of making that memoir is about trying to teach my brain that these events really are over, and I really have grown
Mm.
up and made it through it. Even though sometimes it can feel like I'm still that girl, here's this concrete evidence that I'm creating that time has passed. So let's just look at what we mean when we talk about autobiocomics. I think of this as the umbrella term for any kind of autobiographical comics, and this includes graphic memoir and diary comics, and also shorter form comics that aren't quite like a book length memoir, but they aren't diary comics. And so you see a lot of that in mini comics. And I put that here in the stem of the umbrella. So, graphic memoir, most of you probably know this, but typically refers to a book length autobiographical comic, and it's structured more like a novel. They typically have a longer amount of time between when the events happened and when you're writing them. And this distance is what creates hindsight and the ability to explore not just what happened, but what the impact was over time. So you're able to do a lot of like meaning making and show growth. Whereas with diary comics, they're much more immediate and they're reflecting on life as it happens and are typically shorter and episodic. And I'll admit, I used to be a little bit of a hater about diary comics. I just wasn't sold because I really thought that the value in this work was on having that time to like reflect and make meaning. But now I see that they just have different intentions. And um, so without hindsight, you're forced to really trust in the moment and face where you are right now. And this is about being present and experiencing an event as it happens without projecting meaning that you might not understand yet. So, in a way, it's sort of like the opposite of doing memoir. I am a big journaler. My diary comics practice has always been sort of an extension of my regular diary. So I mostly am writing, and then I'll find myself adding images places. And sometimes I go through a journal within like a month or two, and that's often not a great sign for my mental health. um, but here's an example of a place where I was writing, and then it's like just felt like adding an image. And this was the moment when I was sitting at my desk drawing my first book, and I got an email from my editor at Fantagraphics saying he would be interested in the project, and came out of the blue. And I was like, oh, I have to commemorate this moment. And I think what's fun about instead of just writing it down, it's like when you draw it, you're really showing these little things like I was wearing my robe, I had my dog on my lap, I was listening to headphones. And so all of that is like captured where you were in that moment in time. So I made more of these like commemorative comics about my book when it first came out, and here I have holding the book for the first time, showing it to close friends, and then when I got to enter it into the library here at CCS, and each of these felt really monumentous, just these like little moments that were really special to me, and I wanted to capture the images or the scenes with images. And I knew that I would never have these firsts again, and that's why it felt important to commemorate them. And it was exciting and new, but this was also the payoff for a really long term project. And so I had sort of been planning, understanding that this would happen for years. And so then a few months later, I fell in love. And this was suddenly, I started using diary comics for a very different purpose because this was something that was totally unplanned and unexpected in my life. And I was drawing these along with written descriptions in the journals. And so a lot of these drawings, especially the early ones, there's a lot that's sort of like left up to interpretation. There's no narration. It's just these little moments. And it's not until you put them side by side that a story naturally begins to emerge over time. And so in my long form memoir work, I make a lot of effort to make sure that the reader knows exactly what's going on at all times. Um, there's always going to be some room for interpretation, but part of why I wrote my book, Dear Minnie, was this need to feel understood. And so, in contrast with diary comics, the intention is totally different. It isn't for other people to understand what's going on in my life. It's just for me to process these little things and hold on to intangible moments. And having to wait for a story to write itself can be really scary, especially when that story is your real life. There's a lot of suspense when you're making diary comics, and you're taking sort of an active risk in recording something when you don't know where this narrative is going to go. Especially if you're going to be sharing them. I feel like there's a lot to think about when you share diary comics in terms of like maybe the distance you want to have before putting that out into the world. And it's a different kind of vulnerability and emotional practice compared to long form memoir. And like I said earlier, it's all about being present in the moment and accepting that the story is actively unfolding. So this idea of surrendering to the unknown is where I started to think of my diary comics practice as devotional. And I think it's devotional because drawing takes time. It forces you to sit with a moment and give it all of your energy and focus. And to devote this kind of time and attention to something when you don't know where this part of life is taking you, you have to have a sort of faith or a belief that, like, this is worth something. And it doesn't just apply to romantic relationships, it's true with friendships and really any journey that you're on in your life. I definitely experienced this when I was making those comics about my book and putting that out into the world. And I also make an effort to draw from memory as much as possible and only use reference photos uh, just sparingly when I feel like it's super necessary. And I think part of what separates these images from like a photograph or even an AI rendering is just how the moment is synthesized through your mind and your heart. So it's not necessarily about capturing this like perfect rendered image of a memory, but it's like, how did that moment and that memory feel to you? So when I collected these comics into a mini comic, I think it was about almost like a year later, or maybe like 9 months. And so like having that distance and sort of a sense of like, okay, this is where this story has taken me. I feel like I can put it together, and now there's this sort of narrative. And I called it Bel Air, which is French for the Book of Hours, and they would draw these paintings in the Middle Ages, these books, mostly done by monks and nuns, and illuminated manuscripts. And I liked this idea of like the literal translation meaning beautiful hours, but then also these books are these like devotional texts that combine words and images, and they're just a total labor of love. And for the original ones, it was like a love of God, and for me, it was just like sort of celebrating love. So I also give myself permission not to explain and let the story sort of live between you and whoever you experienced it with. Obviously, if you want to explain, explain, but don't feel like you owe the world. Especially in the age of like social media, I think it's important to feel like you're allowed to have a private life, and it's enough if you are just sharing these little windows into your world. And I think that there's something kind of beautiful about the quiet intimacy of witnessing these moments without all of the context. And in the end, I think, yeah, it's like I make them mostly for myself and my partner. So in memoir, we talk a lot about the etiquette or the ethics around depicting others in your work. Many memoirs change people's names or appearances. With diary comics, though, this can be a little bit more challenging, and then that creates some potential concerns around when and how you share them, because it's just much harder to disguise people who are in your current life, especially if you have readers who are also in your current life, like they're gonna know who that is. And then as it's actively unfolding, you don't know, how you're gonna feel about a friend or a lover, down the line. And so, yeah, just thinking about like where you are and like just being really mindful about how you depict people because you don't sort of know where it's going. And one way I navigate this is being mindful about how I depict like private conversations or conflict. And this is kind of a good challenge in terms of like practicing synthesizing moments so you don't have to get bogged down in the details of everything that was said. It's more about understanding the underlying message and what you're feeling that you're trying to convey. And there are definitely comics that I also make just for myself and don't worry about like having to synthesize things or think about sharing them. I found these kind of diary comics to be particularly therapeutic when I can boil down a complicated or difficult experience into an image that's easily digestible. Like this one was about a bad dissociation episode, and I might have journaled like 10 pages or so about it, like just explaining, like, oh, this happened, this, and this. But then doing this one single image, I felt like I was able to encapsulate the experience and make it feel much less scary and more contained. I also draw all of my diary comics straight to ink, so there's no do-overs. However it comes out the first time is what I go with, and I personally find this very freeing. And then later I'll go back in and I'll add tones or colors, but that also doesn't happen right away. I like to kind of let them rest. Like I make them, I don't share them, I don't color them, I just sort of let them rest. And then when I do come back, it's like time has passed and they can feel less emotionally charged and more like, oh, I can just enjoy this as like a piece of art to color or whatever. And I also think that doing it like straight to ink, it's like another process of surrender and like letting go of perfectionism. Because these drawings aren't meant to be technically advanced, they're just meant to convey like a feeling. And then most importantly, I think diary comics are really great for just capturing silly moments and things that are probably only funny to like you and the person you shared them with. But I find that they can be like a really great gift in that sense of just like commemorating joy. All right, so we're gonna dive into our exercise now. And I'm gonna lead you through a multi step process, and we're gonna start by making a list of people or things that you feel devoted to or have a lot of love for. So maybe anyone or anything that came up into your mind during this talk. And we'll just take 2 minutes to generate a list of ideas.
Starting now?
Yeah, right
Do
now.
you want a timer or do you have a timer?
I've got one.
All right.
All right.
All right, now put that in the
Starting
chat
now.
too, that list.
Yeah. Oh, and also if anyone has any questions or comments at this time, we can do that.
Are you going to do one too, Natalie?
Oh yeah, I was thinking about it. I was just thinking, wondering where my pen went. I'm very attached to this one fountain pen. We got about 30 seconds. All right.
I
Now,
like that.
yeah, I tried to find the least jarring alarm because for a while, just had the most obnoxious one and it would always give everyone a jump scare. All right, so the next stage, after I want you to go through your list and choose one subject that you want to focus on, and then think about an experience with this person or related to whatever you chose. And we're gonna try and settle on one moment that you want to depict, and it can be big or small, monumental or mundane, but just choose one moment. We'll just think about this for like a minute or so. If you want to brainstorm some things.
We're still kind of writing right now, right?
Yeah, just writing. All right, and then We're gonna try and boil this experience that you chose down into one little snapshot. So we're just sort of going smaller and smaller and smaller, and think about how you want to depict this experience in one image. Um, and I always like to think of these as like a photo that I wish had been taken, but no one was there to capture. And maybe it would be impossible to take that photo because it'd be, from the sky or something. Um, and at this stage, you can either jot down notes about this, think about body language, expression. Is there any dialogue? And also with the dialogue, is it something that was like directly said, or do you want to kind of make like obscure it in a way? Like sometimes I'll just do speech bubbles, and then it's like la 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 la. It's about we're talking, but it's not important what was said. And then, yeah, if you're imagining a scene, it's like, do you want to choose like the most dramatic moment, or do you want to choose a moment that feels like it just like encapsulates things more generally? And so you can make notes about this, and then also when you're ready, you can start drawing.
Awesome. And I put all this in the chat for people. Natalie, did you find your pen?
I did. It's my backup pen. It's not the number one. It's second
Is it
in.
a different
Well, it's the same kind. It's one of these Kakuno fountain pens, but this one, it's like I think it maybe broke at some point, or I lost it and I bought a new one that just writes a little better. So I have
Mhm.
this as the backup. And then for timing, Tom, should we do like about 20 minutes or
A lot of time, I feel like.
yeah, this is a lot of
It's an
time.
intimidating amount of time is sort of what I mean.
We
Maybe
could do
maybe do 15 and check in with people and
yeah.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do that.
I'll
And
bet we'll
also,
get.
like, if you guys, I put it on the next slide, but if you do finish and you want to like add some color or some tones, and just, I always start with the characters to get like the body language and, like this is sort of the important stuff that's going on. But then I find that like if you start filling in the background, that's where you can really like
Mm.
use up all those minutes to get, all the puzzle pieces on the table and the plants and that rug. I think I did look at my rug in my living room because it's too complicated. All right, so let's do 15 minutes.
And I've written that in the chat as well.
Awesome.
Um,
Thank
so
you.
how long do you normally take when you do these?
That's such a good question. I feel like I kind of have no idea. I know when I did like hourly comics day, I was doing like a couple panels on a page, and I feel like maybe a page would take 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It really just depends, yeah, on like the level of detail.
So a page would a page would be a few different hours though, right? Like, or
Yeah,
you would do them all at once.
yeah, I would do probably like 2 different hours.
Gotcha. So we have one question in the chat. For this, do
Oh,
you usually start with just ink or do you pencil before? You said you just go in ink, but you probably it's
yeah,
worked both ways.
I just go straight to ink. But you're definitely welcome to start with pencils if that feels more comfortable. The reason I do ink is I just don't want to get bogged down in like trying to make it too perfect. I think when you go straight to ink, you have to sort of accept that there's gonna be inconsistencies everywhere, and I feel like my style is sort of like consistently inconsistent. So everything's like a little bit wobbly, and then you don't have to feel like that those are necessarily seen as mistakes.
Um, and I feel with this much time that I would I would thumbnail, but you probably don't do
Mhm.
that, right? Do you or make little sketches beforehand? Yeah.
No, not for diary comics. For my regular work, I do. Yeah.
You're probably a better artist than I am. I have such like my first takes are always really bad.
Oh no, different.
That's different. That's very different.
Yeah, and it's also taken me like I feel like I didn't get comfortable drawing straight to ink until I did the draft for my book. And so with that, I was
Mm.
just drawing so much and I didn't have to feel self-conscious because it was a draft. And after that, I think it just like built up enough of those drawing muscles.
Mhm.
But even like there's some of the images from the beginning of my relationship where the way I drew my partner's face or just was so off because I just hadn't learned it yet. And so it's like you see your drawing improve both just like in general when you do it a lot, but then also like when you get to know someone, you sort of get to
Mm.
know their face and their body, and all of a sudden it's like it's as easy to draw them as it is to like draw yourself.
Wow.
Mhm.
Like back in the old days when political cartoons mattered a little more, there was always a few days or a few weeks when a new president would come in and the cartoonists are trying to figure out how to draw
Right.
him. And then they all settle on the same sort of things.
Right, it's like what becomes the shorthand.
Yeah. And exaggerating for emotional effect is okay, right?
Oh yeah, that's encouraged. I was also thinking, I mean, I'd already put this together, but another thing I love to do with diary comics is draw like what someone else describes, um, sort of like a metaphor of like a situation. And then, like I think I had one back a little bit. Yeah, like here, my partner was sort of like imagining like you just like are holding this orb with like all of my past. And so it's like I love to take those visual images and just use metaphor and then
Mm,
create it as like a tangible thing.
yeah. Um, Somebody is asking how much time we have left, and I can put it on I can
We
put it
have
on screen.
10 minutes.
Okay, so I'm gonna put 10:30 so that I don't annoy you with a different alarm. But if I put that on the screen, it's on my
Oh,
face now.
perfect. Okay,
Um,
yeah,
that'll
that's
give people.
cool.
Okay, cool. I like that idea that it's a snapshot that you wish somebody had taken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like let's see which one was the one. Oh, this one was we were lying in front of a fire and my dog was just perfectly behind my leg, lying on my leg, and I just remember, oh my God, like we have to get a picture of this, but you can't move, you can't disturb the dog. And so then I just was like, oh, I'll just draw it later. And then it ends up, I feel like, being more fun than if you just like had a photo.
I feel like I want to lie a little for the silliest thing. I'm drawing myself at my piano, but I have another piano on top of the piano, and I'm like, I don't want to draw that because people it's silly, but
But
um,
that's like what makes it fun. It's
I
like the
know.
weird absurdities. And then the question becomes, why is there a piano on top of the piano? And we'll never know.
Yeah.
I love drawing clutter. I feel like if you,
Oh.
that's another thing that, like, if you were to take a picture of a cluttered desk, you'd be like, ugh. But if you
Mm.
draw it, it's like all of a sudden it's so satisfying. And it just, I feel like it gives the space all this personality.
I think I'm gonna go take a picture of my clutter so I draw it properly. Hang on.
Yeah.
Wow, it really is clutter.
I don't know a single cartoonist who doesn't have a really cluttered desk.
What's that dog's name?
Oh, this is Gwen.
What? Glenn?
Gwen.
Oh, Gwen.
Gwen, yeah.
It's a very nice name.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Okay. Now we're gonna do the clutter.
Good. It's like we all have to learn to be more accepting of our clutter and clutter shame.
So rarely do single panel comics or single images. It's really a new kind of practice for me.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was looking back through my diary comics, originally I was gonna have us do like a 4 panel exercise, but then I was like, that's just not, yeah, sort of what this practice is about. But then
Mm.
I also found that so much of the number of panels and layouts like depends on the size of the notebook I'm working on. So when I did those square ones, it was like, oh, it makes sense that you just these little single panel squares, and then I got a bigger notebook, like this sort of vertical size. I'll have a lot more like multi-panel or like sequential
Oh,
stories. But there's something, yeah, nice about just like that single image. So that'd be
mm.
fun to see what people kind of comes up for people with that. Because yeah, I feel like it's easy to forget that panels can just be. It's almost like what's the difference between this and an illustration? And I don't. You could make an argument that maybe it is just an illustration, but I think it's a silent single panel comic.
Mhm. Really got to clean up. I just, oh my gosh, so bad.
Oh no. Yeah, it's like this kind of thing can definitely bring your awareness, and all of a sudden
Yeah,
you're like, oh my god, I've been blocking that out. I just,
totally.
it's okay.
And I'm showing that we have about a minute left. Is that right, Natalie?
Yeah. I have even less, 21 seconds, but
Right. That's
we,
sort of what I was thinking because so I'm
yeah,
going to stop mine
okay.
now, just so mine
Oops, I
doesn't make it.
stopped mine too.
Oh no, I just
That's
didn't want
okay.
to.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you guys just want to wrap up whatever you're drawing right now.
I think what'll happen is that some people want to share and other people keep working.
Yeah. Yeah, and definitely if you end up wanting to like color it and share it later, like just tag me and I'd love to see, or you can send an email or something.
Oh yeah, I need to put.
Oh yeah, I can put my stuff in.
I remember this came up last time you were here. I forgot you had three underscore. Oops.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh.
that was me. I thought I stopped it. Sorry.
Oh, was that the alarm? Or was that a
Yeah, that's
movie?
no, no, I know, right? That's Zoom's actual
Oh,
timer
that's
function.
so dramatic. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Anyway, I was just commenting. I forgot you had three underscores in your
Yeah.
name. It's kind of intense.
It's quite annoying, and I used to have Natalie Norris, like just that was it. And then way back in the beginning of Instagram, and then I eventually changed my name to something really ridiculous. And then when I wanted to come back, it was taken. So
Oh,
free
maybe.
underscore. Yes.
All right, I'll put.
All right. Should I stop sharing and then we can have other people share?
Yeah. Um, sorry, I'm gonna put one.
Oh, hi, Chris. Good to see you.
All right, in the chat, I'm putting some sharing options. And yeah, it looks like we got some people with some hands up. So should we take a look, Natalie?
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to take a picture and upload mine. We have David first, then Larned, then Alan, then Chris. So I will ask you to unmute and then I will spotlight you all. There we go, David, if you're ready.
Yeah, okay. This, I hope you can hear me. This was having dinner with my son and grandson, and my son says, I don't understand him, the grandson. The thinks he doesn't understand me. And me, from my back, as we're at dinner, I think I understand them, but maybe, but maybe nobody understands anybody.
Oh, I love that. I love the facial expressions, the way the eyes are sort of like peeking at each other and the squiggly mouths.
Awesome. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Larned next. Here we go.
I did my favorite thing. So this is my favorite thing.
Oh,
Thing to do is draw humor comics.
oh,
And we have a comment from the peanut gallery there. Hey, funny dude,
oh,
art critic.
the art critic. Oh my gosh. You should get like instead of a dog vest that says like emotional support animal or service dog, it just says art critic.
Yeah, art critic. Yeah.
I love that.
Larned, do you have a cat-sized dog, a little dog?
I have a little mini golden doodle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
Thanks, Larned.
she pretty much runs the entire house.
yeah, they do that.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll go to Alan next.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure what to draw about, and eventually I have a lot of creative projects I can go to, and eventually I decided to draw about one of those. It was the time I tried to basically make my own web series. And one thing that happened here, let me show, although it's probably not at all obvious what's going on from the drawing, but I had, is it showing? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted costumes, and I approached several different costume makers, and they all kind of said they would do it and then didn't get back to me. So I eventually bought some fabric paint from Michaels and ended up trying to make the costumes myself, which was not a great idea necessarily, but that's what this is depicting, since that was a nice visual moment. The table that I used, that I did this on, I still have. It is still covered with splatches of colored paint from this misbegotten enterprise. But anyway, so that's that was my drawing. So yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I love the facial expression with that one. It's like there's sort of an angst to it, but you can tell you're like really concentrating.
So
Didn't turn out.
when you say web series, you mean that was like a filmed series? With real
Yeah, it's still online on YouTube. I'm not going to give the URL because I'm not necessarily thrilled with how it turned out, but you can still find it if you know what to look for, which I'm not going to. But yeah.
I'll have to Google those costumes or figure out what blue and yellow sort of curved
Yeah.
figure it out.
It's
We'll
actually
reverse image
supervillains.
search it.
It was about a supervillain's henchman, is kind of the video diary of a supervillain's henchman, which is kind of a fun idea. It was my first time trying to do my own film project, though, and there's a lot that I probably should have done differently. So, oh well. Anyway.
Sure, it's great. Thanks, Alan.
Cool.
Okay, we'll go to Chris next and then Kai.
Thanks. We'll have to try to look for that, Alan. I thought about my cat. When I go to bed at night, my cat climbs up on my chest and stares into my face for 3 minutes before he goes and sleeps by my legs between me and my wife. And that's it. 3 minutes of purring bliss, and then it's over.
That's amazing. It looks like the cat is almost preying on you.
Yeah.
It's the cat's devotional 3 minutes.
It's intense, but I love it, and it's a habit the cat has. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thanks a
Cat's
lot.
devotional 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.
Go to Kai next.
So I was going on a walk with my friend Dasha earlier this week, and this is a drawing of us on that walk. So what
Oh.
happened was that we walked into a dead rat and both had the same jump reaction. Like we both jumped back and made the very same shriek noise. And so then we just started cracking up, and we're probably cracking up for like 5 minutes as we kept walking down the street.
Oh my God.
I just really love her. And so it was a really fun conversation and walk with her.
Oh, that's adorable. I feel like that's gonna be such a fun one to share with her. And I love doing multiple of the same characters in the same panel, and it's like you get that movement without having to draw a totally different panel.
Cool. Yeah, I like that too. Thank you, Kai. We'll go to Alice next.
Hi, this is in Alaska. I was visiting my daughter,
Wow.
and we were planning to have dinner with my other children, but we were in a part of an accident,
Oh
and
no.
she was so concerned about getting to dinner on time, that even though I was helping a body on the side of the road, and the helicopter just left with this poor kid's mother, she was very fixated on it, and eventually we talked the police into moving a bunch of cars so we could get freed and make it to dinner. We did. So
Oh my god. That is absurd and intense.
Wow, that
Very
is
well
intense.
captured.
Thanks, Alice. Okay, we'll go to Nancy next. Wow.
Well, I didn't follow the directions, so I did it as a panel.
Oh, that's okay.
And now I'm going to have the usual problem of going back and forth because it's backwards for me to read it. So it says Maya was the last of the last batch of cats to cross the Rainbow Bridge. When I get home from a long day at work or a long day of retirement now, I take my bra off and usually throw it on the coffee table. One day, Maya snatched my bra off of the coffee table, and she's saying, "Woohoo! Look at me!" She actually put it on. Ooh la la! I am so sexy.
Yeah.
Then Archie came over and got involved,
Oh no.
but she hit him upside the head and ran away with her bra.
Oh.
And I must say, I also kind of cheated because I have a video of this, which I refer to. So there you go.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Looked great on her.
Yes, I did.
All right, thanks, Nancy. We'll go to
Sure.
Jackie next. It's funny.
Hello.
Combination of like rituals, devotions, things that I love. This is me last fall at a hostel in Philadelphia, having my coffee and writing in my journal. And I went downstairs in my pajamas.
Oh yeah.
And that's just, you know, the different, like they rock you all over everything, and just different people and things in the background. So yeah, it was just, you know, nothing special, but it was special to me because I don't get a lot of time to travel by myself. And it was just like, I was just grooving on the day.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that you have your own personal little ritual going on, and then it's like in the midst of this whole scene. You're like showing like other people like also are doing their own little actions.
Yes.
Nice. Thanks,
Thanks.
Jackie. All right, we'll go to Eli next.
Um, one of my favorite places is Yosemite, and it's kind of hard to draw the scale because everything is like thousands of feet tall. But I climbed Half Dome about 12 years ago. I don't think I could do it now. And I was sick the night before because I didn't realize I got sick at elevation. So I didn't get any sleep, and you have to get up at 4 in the morning to start so you don't get struck by lightning on the top of the dome.
Whoa.
But at about 8 hours into the hike, we reached this place called Liberty Cap, which is the top of Nevada Falls, which is a waterfall that's like 600 feet tall, and this is about 6,000 feet up.
Whoa.
And I finally started feeling better because for the first 8 hours of the hike, like every 20 minutes, I was running in the bushes, pooping my pants, basically. It was pretty awesome. And then I all of a sudden started feeling so good here. And it was just so beautiful. And I just think about it all the time. Like this granite dome just has all these big pieces of rock just kind of scaling off of it. And the texture is just so beautiful. And it's this beautiful shape. And there's this giant waterfall just like gushing over this cliff. And right here, there's this teeny little bridge. You climb up here. You're hiking up this. I can't do it, but it's on this side. You hike up right here, and then you cross the bridge across this waterfall, and you're just like 10 feet from where it just like goes 600 feet down. So I just think about it all the time. And we were there at the end of May, so all the flowers were blooming and it was just beautiful. And then that's that. Thank you. This was really fun. Enjoyed
I
it.
love that you added the color. It just like makes it
Oh, yeah.
all come to life.
That disguises any flaws that might be in the drawing.
That's how it works. It's like a line drawing gets so much more polished. You just add a little tone, color, and all of a sudden everything's intentional.
Yeah, I meant to do it that way.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Nice.
This was
Thank you,
really
Ellen.
wonderful.
All right, we'll go to Ellen next.
Hi.
Yeah.
So this is me with bringing home some artichokes because I went to the store and I had never seen them on the stock. And so I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I have to get them. And so this is me like excitingly bringing them home and my partner sort of skeptically being like, okay.
Yeah.
And it really like sums up like our love beautifully in that he's sort of like skeptical of me being like, I have this whole new thing. It's gonna be awesome. And then today, this is like representing us like sort of watching a Martha Stewart video together for the first time ever seeing Martha Stewart in action. It was great. But he was like, I couldn't decide whether to go on a bike ride like through the park or cook the artichokes because they take like effort. And he's like, I'll cook the artichokes, like you go on your bike ride. And I came home to like this plate of artichokes and we each had our own. And it was
Oh.
just like a really sweet, like I felt like my dreams were supported because even though I sort of threw the artichokes into our life and Martha told us that you have kind of one day to cook them. He said we got this, and I really appreciate him meeting my artichokes like that.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I love the details in your outfit and the expressions and how you sort of show like a progression of time, just like with showing the finished artichokes and then the video. It's all really cool.
Thanks so much, Ellen. Hobbies next. Hobby, fresh
Hey.
from Germany.
So this is a little scene of me and my friend dancing. I am devotional to dancing, and this is a moment when we were going through a hard time, and we were just in the moment, just letting it out to the song "I Will Follow." I don't know if anyone knows the song. I will follow you, and you were just like going crazy, and her hair was going all over the place. And my friend has a daughter, so her toys were all over the place like obstacles. So so yeah, that's my scene.
Wow, the energy in there is just so visceral. Like you can feel the love and the movement. That's really
Yeah, we both love dancing so much, and we're dancers by training. So it was just like, let's go. Let's just dance. Not even pretty. Let's not dance pretty. Let's just dance ridiculous. So.
Amazing. Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love the size of those Legos. That's how they feel when you step on them.
Oh yes. Let me tell you, it was like ninja stuff. Like it was crazy.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Hobby. Okay, we'll go to Sarah next.
Hey.
Hello.
The Legos are so funny. We have a little nut picker upper. It's like a wire thing that picks up nuts outside, and it's amazing for picking up Legos if anybody needs that. Okay, I didn't fill in very much detail, but I did mine for a little self-love. It just says I've been making a comic about my preteen self becoming self-conscious and ashamed for a different class. And it's nice to be able to give her some love. So I just did a little hug.
It's so sweet. You can just feel this sort of like tenderness, the way the two faces. It's really lovely.
Thank you. That was really nice. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, we'll go to Bonnie if Bonnie's ready. Let's see if they'll come on, and then after that we'll go to Kate. Sorry, Sarah, we'll have to. All right, we'll go to Kate and then we'll go to Bonnie.
Okay, mine is me and my partner extracting honey.
Ooh.
And we'd never done it before, but it's totally the kind of thing that we love to do together. Like we like to can and we like to just do these kind of involved domestic projects.
Yeah.
This was the first time we'd done it, and there was just this moment when we were watching the honey flow into the filter in the jar, and we were both staring at it, and he was like, "There's something so soothing about watching this," and I was like, "Yeah, I could do this all day." It was just we were both like really into it, and it was a nice thing to share.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you can feel the sort of like still calmness in both of the figures, and then all the details, the stuff on the counter, it's very cool.
Yeah, it was a big mess, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, it was a fun workshop.
Thanks, Kate. Okay, we'll go to Bonnie next. Here we go.
So mine is my dogs and me in the woods. Like I pointed out a deer to them, and of course they went tearing off after it.
Yeah.
And it's also just the best time in the woods right now with everything blooming and birds coming back. And so yeah, this one includes my dogs who I love so much, and the woods, and some birds and turtles, and I would add more. But yeah, what fun. Thank you.
Cool. I love how you did the foliage. It's like very abstract, and then the dogs are much more realistic, and so you just get this sort of feeling that you're just like moving through, and the focus is definitely like on the dogs, and then they're just in this like.
It's exciting when they run after deer because they're a little overweight. And so
Okay.
it's good to see that they still have it in them. So
Yes, the instinct is strong.
Thanks, Bonnie. We'll go to Gail next. And after that, we'll go to Rachel.
Hello. I could not fit my story into one panel, so I made a multi-panel thing.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay. So on Monday, I checked in on one of our student clubs that was having a Passover Eid celebration. And this student greeted me and said, "Hi, Miss Jayden, would you like some hummus tahini? It's vegan, halal, kosher for Passover." And I said, "Oh, no, thank you, Lily. That's nice of you, though." This other student, though, offered me something a lot more tempting. "Hi, Miss Jayden, would you like a potato square?" And I said, "Those look fried." "Yes, I will have one." And then poor Lily with her tahini hummus rejected said, that's so real."
Oh, no. I love that sequence.
I've been thinking about it all week, so I'm glad I had an opportunity to make a little comic about it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good reminder for people to share afterwards so that we can keep these in our minds on our social media or in our PDF. So I just put that in the chat. We'll go to Rachel next if Rachel's ready. If not, we'll go to Beverly. Here comes Rachel.
Hello. Just need to spin this around.
Yeah.
So I'm working on Procreate digitally, but I recently found out that I won a graphic design contest through the library.
Congrats.
Thank you. And this was my reaction. I was like in my room and I'm moving right now, so there's like boxes and like clutter on the floor and stuff, but I just remember the look on my face, like my jaw dropped and I was just so happy. So I have like me looking at my phone, like reading the email and just being really happy. But yeah, it was nice to commemorate kind of like one of the last moments I'm gonna have in this room too. And also like a new thing that happened recently. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love all the little plants on those shelves and
Yeah, they're gonna be the last thing I pack. So
Oh, of
they're
course.
still just light before we make the move. So yeah. Thanks everybody for sharing. It was really great to hear from everyone. So
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much, Rachel. We'll go to Beverly next. Oops. Hang on a second. I hit something wrong. There we go.
Can you see this? Let's see. Oh, can you see it? Okay, so my dog, he's a German Shepherd. He often, when I'm reclining, he will jump behind me, and I've often wanted to get a picture. I'm going to have to do a rendering of him, but yeah, and I often, whenever I try to get my phone, he move, he jumps down, and I can
Of
never get him
course.
behind me like that.
That's hilarious. It's like without context, it kind of feels like an evil spirit or something. I love that though.
Thanks, Beverly. So Christian's here. Let's see if Christian wants to unmute, and I'm gonna try and locate Edgar, or maybe I'll share mine, and then I'll give Edgar a chance to finish up.
Hello.
Hi, Christian. You got something for us? I'll have to stop.
Yes.
Here we go.
I don't have something for comic. I do have something for painting.
Oh.
This is my painting.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow. I like that little character.
Yeah.
Is that real text on top, or is it fake? I mean, is it like the white on black? Is it saying something? Is it,
Yeah, it's saying something.
what's it say?
I don't know, but it's a
Okay.
restaurant.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
cool. Thanks, Christian.
Very cool.
I was gonna send you a comic, but I didn't finish my comic yet.
Oh, that's okay. You can share it with
Yeah, it
us.
looks like you're outside, so it might be kind of tricky to do.
Yeah.
Thanks, Christian. All right. Natalie, I'll show you mine, and I admit I'm stalling to give Edgar some time to finish. Let's see, the spotlight. And actually, what's funny is I didn't really show what this really was. Wait, I'm gonna lower Christian's hand. There we go. I guess it didn't work. So that's me at the piano, and my mother recently passed away, and I was kind of writing a little bit about that and playing, and so I drew myself kind of sad there, and I was going to depict more of that, but I got really wrapped up in the clutter because I don't like that's what my piano looks like. It's a mess, and I mean, it's terrible. Things are forget it. I got to really go in and clean up after this.
Right. But I'm so glad you captured it, because then if you go forward to have the cleanest piano ever, like you'll remember how far you came.
Yeah, maybe I should just write my cluttered piano.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing Edgar. Usually we finish with
I can show you mine.
Oh, please. Oh, there's Edgar too. So yeah, Natalie. No, I'll spotlight you. And then
Okay,
we'll
yeah. Oh, my lighting here is a little rough. But I just did myself here at the desk doing this talk. Oh, sorry, it's just like all kinds of darkness. But anyways, yeah, and then I did a little x-ray vision to show my little dog on my lap.
I wonder.
Because I was like, I didn't do the angle right to just show her, but I wanted to make sure that's like a core part of this moment.
You know, I thought I heard the dog during the workshop, but I didn't know.
No, she's pretty silent, unless she barks, and then you would absolutely know.
Maybe I thought I heard some rustling or something. But anyway, well, that was really cool. Okay, we'll go to Edgar, who seems to be here.
Well, thank you. Yes, I've been here and most interested the whole time. And initially, I was going before I received the wonderful instructions and guidance from Natalie. I was going to do a Walter Winchell expose on my love life because it was many love comics. But I decided to do something completely different. And now I'm going to reveal Edgar's crystal ball tells all.
Whoa.
My mom became very interested in psychic Jean Dixon, A Gift of Prophecy. I became interested in psychic phenomena too and read about the sleeping prophet Edgar Casey. There is a river. That's why when I was 11, my mom presented me with a small 2-inch crystal ball, which my grandfather found on a hidden ledge inside the fireplace of my parents' first apartment. I gazed deep inside the crystal ball. People, relatives, and friends would ask me questions. My old cousin Harvey asked me a question from his past. What did my first girlfriend look like? I see a young girl with pigtails. You're right. How'd you know? So many people ask me questions, I decided I'd better stop giving readings. I'm sorry. I seem to have lost my psychic powers. I shouldn't tell you this, but I still have the power, and I'm winking at you with a smile. So to be continued. So I hope that meets the guidelines for our little mini moment of interest.
Oh yeah, this was great. Very
Awesome.
great image
Thanks,
of the
Tom.
crystal ball.
Thanks so much, Edgar.
You bet. I'll predict something for you all, but I know it'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put it
Let's
in
hope
the
we get
chat.
good
Yeah.
news.
Awesome. Okay, we'll put Natalie back on the spotlight. There we are. Natalie, thank you.
Yeah, thank
And I'm
you.
going to put in the chat where to buy your first book.
Oh yeah.
There, I
You
put
can
the
always
bookshelf.org.
order it through like your local bookstore, which is always good. Because then they might stock it going forward. But you can also just get it from sort of wherever the publisher, the evil website, all sorts of places.
All right. It's always good to see you. Thank you so much for doing this and guiding us through this. This was really fun and really I like that you call it devotional, that it's a devotional practice. I think it's really nice that you brought it to that sort of language. I'm going to think about that a lot more going forward and embrace the single panel moment that I wish somebody had taken a photograph of.
Right, those little snapshots.
I love that. I'm going to ask everybody to unmute and give you a little send off and a round of applause. Thank you, Natalie.
you.
Everybody
Thank
come
you.
back
Thank
next
you,
week. and-
Natalie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gwen.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Gwen, the real star.
Thank you.
That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, bye,
You're
everyone.
awesome.
Oh, thanks, Natalie.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
you.
I think this is like the
That's
second
sweet.
workshop that you've done for the Friday nights, Natalie.
I think it's my third actually.
Because
Oh,
I've taken 2 out of 3 of them.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's
Well,
great.
thank you for coming. Yeah.
Your dog
You're
is
welcome.
so cute.
Oh my goodness.
All right, everybody. Have a happy spring or fall, as the case may be. And we'll